Well, welcome to a special episode of the Out of Left Field podcast. I'm Bart Gregory along with Charlie Winfield. Charlie, how you doing today, man?
Man, I'm good.
That's good. That's good. You're looking svelte. Not as svelte as the guy to your right.
Well, I was trying to improve myself a little bit today. We got royalty in here.
I know. Zac Selmon, athletic director, joining us. And, we've waited to ask you on the show. Charlie has been waiting for a year, and he says what we're going to do is you're going to work out, and then you and Zac are going to have some kind of running, performance, some kind of race. Well, I finally given up. So because you go through the regimented workout just about every day, don't you?
I enjoy a good workout, but it's good to be with you guys. As I get older, it doesn't move as good as it once did. As I came over here, you thought about a story. So growing up, my dad was going to do a podcast, and he's an old country bumpkin from eastern Oklahoma, small farm. So he actually thought a podcast was going to be recorded. So I come home to pick him up to take him to do this, and he's got a shirt and tie on. And I'm like, Pops, you realize it's a podcast, you're not being videotaped. And he's like, no way. So every time I hear a podcast, that story comes to my mind. So I'm glad I'm not shirt and tie. It's good to see you guys. Always good to be here.
It's not like a vlog. We haven't gotten there yet. We haven't gotten to the vlog series yet. So, all right. So I was talking to Sam Purcell on the pregame show this past Saturday, and we were talking about Starkville. And I said, Sam, I don't think I've ever seen a collection of people who have come to this community, whether it be Sam, whether it be Chris Jans, whether it be James Armstrong, you, Jeff Lebby, that have immersed themselves into the community. Now, you've been here, 18, 19 months now, and it just seems like you've been here your entire life.
It does. It seems like, I guess the old saying, time flies when you're having fun. And, it's something special about not only Starkville, our state. The state of Mississippi has been so welcoming, and we all love it. And you figure out it's never about the place. It's always about the people. And I think Starkville is such a special place because of the people that we have. And clearly the passion that our community has for Mississippi State and just the way that we all want to get better. So we've had a blast. My wife and kids love it here. The only thing they want us to hurry up on is we're finishing up a house. So hopefully they can. All their stuff's been in storage for a while, and they're ready to get their toys out.
Well, I've done that before. When you're building a house, sometimes it's better to stay away from each other because hey, let her make all the decisions. That's the whole thing. Yes, ma'am, you're right. I don't care if it's beige or what. Whatever you say goes. I learned that a long time ago.
It's been good. So we're in the. To use a football analogy, we're in the fourth quarter, like in the red zone. We're close to being done. So
awesome.
So he talks about talking to Sam Purcell. I was talking to Jeff Lebby the other day about being a head football coach, and he was talking about all the way back to being in junior high. He kept a book on when I'm a head coach, this is what I'm going to do, and that was his focus. Obviously, you grew up in a sports family. Was being an athletic director something you sensed early on? How did that come about for you?
No, not at all. I think growing up, I always loved sports. And as I got older, I understood the magnitude of what sports did for our family. When you're a little kid, you don't understand the magnitude of, segregation. And for our family, my dad and uncles were able to go to school on a college scholarship because of Brown versus Board passed. They had opportunity. The first time they went out to eat, my dad was a junior in high school. So think about when I started thinking about that, I'm like, whoa, yes, you want to win in sports, you want to be competitive, all that, but it truly changed our lives. And then so for my sisters and I, we saw an example, and then you go, blessed to go to Wake Forest and play football there, but you weren't thinking about a career in it. But once I got done, I just knew that I just felt purposeful working in college athletics, and didn't start off working in athletics. I worked in corrugated box sales in Oklahoma City, started volunteering at the local university, and then was just able to get my kind of foot in the door. I had an Uncle Leroy that used to be the athletics director at the University of South Florida, and I'd get to spend summers with him, and I saw that his work made an impact on people, but I didn't know what an athletics director was. So no, growing up, you always just want to work hard, and you want to maximize your God-given gifts and abilities. But it wasn't like I want to be an athletics director, and I'm still learning. Only 18 months on the job, still learning what exactly that means, especially in this changing landscape. But I will say it's always about how do you make an impact, and that's one of the things I really love.
Well, one of the things that strikes me as a little bit different than football is somebody setting out to be a football coach. The game evolves, of course, but it's still basically the same game. I have to think that running an athletic department today, you couldn't have even envisioned this 5 years ago, 10 years ago. If you were preparing, I'm not sure you could have prepared for this.
Yeah, if you prepared to be flexible and just to keep moving forward, yeah, it changes so fast. And that it's all about perspective. I think I've been blessed to work for a lot of great ADs and just have a pretty good feel of connection with ADs around the country. And, I always ask for, what was it like 5 years ago and 10 years ago and 15 years ago? And it's totally different. And just in this role now, it's changed so many times since I came to Mississippi State. And a lot of times it's for things outside of our control, whether it's legal issues that we're dealing with, or again, the transfers, NIL, we get all that, but there's so many things outside of our control, and now we're mixing that in with an economic shift like we've never seen before. So again, it's always changing, but it's always so fun, and because sports will continue to bring us together, sports will continue to change lives, and that's one of the things that I know Mississippi State's going to continue to stay at the forefront of that because of people like yourselves and the people that we have in our community.
Always be ready for sudden change. That's the whole thing. And I mean, I think back to when I started in athletics, and you think back to when you were playing at Wake Forest, if you ever thought that we would be in this day, but you began to see the seismic shifts, 3, 4, 5 years ago about where we were headed. And now when you look in the new landscape of college sports, you had to hire a football coach. And hiring a football coach today is completely different than hiring a football coach 5 years ago. So much was about X's and O's 5 years ago or 10 years ago, and a lot of times it's the guy that can just out-coach you. Now you've got to think about so many different things on a grand scheme, and what led you to Jeff Lebby?
Yeah, I think it shows with just the strength of Mississippi State, just the quality of candidates that we're interested in. So we really developed a profile of a couple core things. One, somebody that could fit within our culture and fit within the culture at Mississippi State, fit within the culture of Starkville, but then also what kind of culture will they have within the walls of their program. Clearly, it's all about talent acquisition. I know Coach Lebby has a great scheme, so that kind of checked the schematic box of everything he's been able to do, but we want to have somebody that has great recruiting ties and somebody that can connect with high school coaches, junior college coaches, and then the last thing we always looked for was somebody that could really have a developmental program. So take players from all over the country. It doesn't matter if they're a 2 right now, how do we get them to a 3? If you're a 3, how to get them to a 4? Just knowing we've got really good talent within our state and our surrounding states, and we got to have a developmental program. So when you look at it, Coach Lebby fit within all those things. And, it's something that these positions aren't just the head coach. It's a family affair. And Staley wanted to be here like crazy. Both the Lebby children, Cor and Kane, want to be here. Big Cheese is what we call Kane. Although I saw a video of Kane playing flag football last night. He's playing quarterback. Dude's actually he's got a little arm on him. He can sling it.
And it was funny to hear Jeff. He was like, "Dad, I don't want to be a quarterback." No. You need to go over here and you need to be a guard. And then he can just throw it all over the place.
Yeah, I thought the coach was like, "No, son, your hand's going in the dirt." And he's like, "Oh no, man, Big Cheese is slinging it."
The old Jared Lorenzen throwback.
Yeah. You look at all those qualities, and you know that we've got getting great momentum brewing here in Starkville, and Jeff's the perfect person to take us to the next level. So it was clear, and we had a great search committee that helped, and clearly had great support from the Bulldog Club board president, also Dr. Keenum, and so many others. And I've just been so grateful that we're starting to build the foundation. And I think just like you're building a house, whatever it is, every great program and you can't shortcut it. But every great program has to have a great foundation to withstand the test of times. And unfortunately, this world that we're living in, or this landscape, the winds are shifting even more so and are stronger, coming from all different directions. So that's why it's even more of a focus for us to make sure we get the foundation right.
Well, talk about the foundations. One of the things about those, you don't always see them, right? You see everything that goes vertical. You don't always see what was poured into the ground. And one of the things I've been really impressed about is not just announcing Jeff Lebby as a coach and what went into that, but that you and your staff have then gone and taken the next steps. I look at what you've done within the Bryan building to build out a NIL infrastructure. And then I look within the football building and what you and Jeff Lebby have done together, general manager, evaluators. You guys have done a lot to build that foundation.
Yeah, man, I've always wondered, and thanks for saying that, Charlie, but I always thought, like, when there's a traffic jam, look at the road. Like, is the road infrastructure set up to help with traffic? And so when we got here, there's so many great things that are going on, and everybody comes here for a reason, because you love Starkville, because you buy into everything that Mississippi State's about. But we also looked, okay, how can we get a little bit better? And that's kind of, I've always looked at it. We ask our student athletes to get better every day. I see the images of basketball season about being here, and just think we expect Josh Hubbard to be better this year than he was last year. That's just natural as an athlete. So I always looked at it of, if we're here to serve student athletes, then that's the kind of responsibility we should put on ourselves as staff members and professionals. We got to get better every day. So knowing that we had to help with some of the infrastructure because of the times within football, so much of it is the role of a head coach, as you know, it's shifted so many things. I mean, it shifted so much where it's not just the X's and O's, it's all the other stuff that comes with it, and you can't do it alone. So having a great support staff and having a general manager that can come in and really help with the talent identification, but also the player development, and with the rate of transfers, you got to plan for some attrition, and how do you build depth? So it's really, you can't look at it as this class or next class. It's really scenario planning of multiple classes. It's unbelievable, the art and the science that goes into recruiting. And then clearly on the administration side, there's so many things that are going on and changes. And I mean, I always feel like the rate of change is such, you got to sprint just to stay still. And we knew that we had to make sure that we were able to be able to sprint in this new time frame we're in, and we're just really pleased with the people that we have.
And one of those sprints and the ways you can do that, of course, is the fundraising piece. And, of course, the great news a couple of weeks ago with the $8 million pledge that's coming down the pipeline, but how that's kind of galvanized the fan base. And you need to have that centralized gift. But our people right now, I've seen it over the past few weeks. I saw it earlier today about just how much people are saying, you know what, this is a great opportunity for us as a fan base to push our chips to the middle of the table and say, we're in this for the long haul.
Yeah, it's been great, and can't thank the family that stepped up and did this enough to be able to announce, an $8 million gift and to launch the State Excellence Fund is huge for us. It's the second largest gift in Mississippi State athletics history, and it doesn't happen without a collection of people that all come together and see a vision of how do we, again, we're very grateful for our history, but we're so committed to how do we compete into the future, knowing that a lot of the landscape has shifted. And the fact of the matter is we need resources. You have to have resources to be able to recruit, have to have resources to be able to get talent, retain talent. I talked to one of our coaches here that coached, over 10 years ago, and that was one of the conversations was I don't know if we could have done it then how we did it or how it's going on now because of the resource that it takes. And we believe, I think all of us in this room believe, that Mississippi State is great, and Mississippi State has a spot at any table in the country, but we've got to put our work in to make sure that we, again, have the infrastructure to do that. And this fund is just that, and really pleased with, again, you have to have resources to be successful. Can't overstate that enough. And we've got to give our coaches the resources to have a chance to go win. And if we don't do that, then I think we're kidding ourselves. And so really pleased with that gift, but also, just over $600,000 in new gifts and pledges also after that $8 million gift announcement. And it's something that everybody can do their part. And that's one of the things that we really need is everybody to continue to do their part, continue to step up. We're asking our staff to stretch. We're asking our student athletes to stretch. So just if we can all come together and really do our part, Mississippi State's going to be able to do phenomenal things.
Zach, one of the questions I get all the time is the athletic department and the Bulldog Initiative aligned? I'm going to speak for the Bulldog Initiative, and I'm going to say yes. And I'm going to say that we are aligned in a couple of ways. We are aligned, number one, in we've simplified. Over the past few years, there have been a lot of people out asking for money.
Mm-hmm.
There have been out a lot of people trying to engage with fans. I want you to tell everybody if I'm wrong. I feel like we have a new way to simplify what we're doing, to simplify the ask and the request for people, and that's this fund you're talking about, the State Excellence Fund, immediate help to all the things that the Bulldog Initiative cares about, just like you do.
Absolutely. And couldn't thank you enough, or can't thank you enough, Charlie, for everything that you've done. It's been unbelievable. Everybody that has stepped up and helped with the Bulldog Initiative, can't thank you enough. And for us, we're excited because we know we've got great alignment now. And this is a fund that is going to help us. It's going to help. You know, one of the things that tied us together, I think, is a love for Mississippi State. And now you said it best. How do we simplify it for the donor, the stakeholder, to make it easy? You know, we think right now everybody wants it to make an impact, but also make it simpler to be able to really make an impact on, again, what we're trying to do. And what we're trying to do is build Mississippi State to another level. But can't be more grateful for you and thankful for this alignment that we do have, knowing that our best days are ahead of us.
And you talk about the different entities, a Bulldog Initiative, you got Bulldog Club, you know, State Excellence, a Crystal Society, and how does all this work? But at the end of the day, it does simplify things and it synchronizes everything, because the Crystal Society within the Bulldog Club is your philanthropic giving levels in your giving society. But the State Excellence Fund, that's kind of where everything is needed at this point.
Sure. Yeah, the State Excellence Fund is something that's going to really help us with recruiting. It's going to help us with, you know, how do we retain our players? How do we, you know, again, look forward to the future? You know, we call it the fund of the future, if you will, but we say, too, the future is here. And for us to be successful, again, we're going to need resources, and the best place to put those resources right now is our State Excellence Fund, knowing we're going to try to, again, do things that we all want to do, which is get great. Clearly, we've got great coaches here now, but equip them with great talent, with all the other resources they need, again, to be successful. And our whole goal throughout all this is to simplify it for everybody and make sure that people understand the impact that they are making.
Yeah, and to underscore that point, for people who go to the Bulldog Initiative website, it's going to roll them straight for donation purposes to the State Excellence Fund. So, and I want to emphasize this too, because I get asked a couple of questions a lot. The first thing is this a reaction to the past couple of weeks? This is something we've been working on together almost from the time you've been here.
Yeah, I've heard that a little bit, Charlie, and it's funny because I remember, you know, meeting with you right as we got here and having conversations, and then every point around or every stop along the way, whether it's a new staff member, whatever, we always had to meet with you just because of the vital importance of what we're doing. So this is something that, you know, things like this just don't happen overnight. It's happened with great intentionality, and it's happened because, again, we know we have great alignment, and that's what I'm so excited about, is just, again, seeing the fruits of everybody's labor, and especially yours, is really special now that we can go forward and do this together.
Yeah, and that's the thing, is we'll keep working together. The Bulldog Initiative and the State Excellence Fund, just side by side.
I know where you live.
Yeah, that's
and
right.
I know where you office.
That's right.
Can't shake me like a bad rash.
And going back to the point, kind of bringing that around, I mean, this time last year when we were at Charlie's office, you would have all kind of dust blowing up on you because the infrastructure of the city of Starkville with the city roads were going in. Nobody wants to talk about water and sewer until you have a water or sewer issue. Everybody wants to see the lights. Everybody wants to see the color of the facade of the building, but it's the guts that mean everything to it. And so the last 18 months, just kind of seeing everything being built underneath the ground to get it to floor level has been what's kind of cool about it. And now, all of a sudden, going forward to being able to simplify things, to synchronize everything with the State Excellence Fund, I've seen a lot of excitement from our people. I think not only is the $8 million gift the start, I mean, I think this is something that's going to ripple effect, and I think you're going to see a lot more positive things coming in the next couple of weeks. Hey, we appreciate you.
Thank you. Well, and we can't say it enough, again, this has nothing to do with what we're doing, but it has everything to do with the work that people like each of you are doing. And behind the scenes, our staff has been working tirelessly. Those are, like they say, you know, the duck looks calm above the water, but below the water, just kicking away. So many great staff members, team members, community members, clearly, again, each of you have been working your tails off. So we can't thank you enough. And I hope everybody understands that we're sprinting, and because we believe in the journey. We believe in the journey of college sport, and we believe where the journey of where Mississippi State should be in college sport. And so that's not going to stop. And that's what I'm so excited about.
Charlie has a hard time believing that. Charlie, I'm running sprints underneath the water.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, that's what no, so here's mine. So Bart told me he could take you in a game of horse. I told him there's a hidden basketball player inside
Oh
of you.
no.
Tell Bart to pack a lunch.
No, and I told Terry, I asked Terry last week. I said, okay, if we got out on the track, you give me a month to prepare. Can you run 2 laps to my 1? And he was like, without hesitation, yes, no doubt.
Of course, a track guy would say that.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And
Tell
but anyway, I'm not jumping on basketball. So now I challenged Joey to the 3-point shooting contest, but I'm not challenging you now.
Well, you should challenge me. I haven't shot a basketball in some time. I'll airball it.
Hey, we appreciate you. Always
Thank you.
great to see you.
Thank you, guys.
That's Zac Selmon. I appreciate you guys hanging out with us here on a special edition of the Out of Left Field Show.